No, it seems to me all I've heard um, lately was all these bands that I really enjoy listening to, these rock bands, more so than any other genre of music, who tend to take shots at each other, and I think it's kind of an interesting thing because you don't really see that in any. Well, actually, do you see that in other sports? I think it's stupid because first of all, you guys are legends in the music business, and you're you may have an opinion about somebody, but for some reason it gets broadcasted so other people can say it. And I remember when I think it was Ozfest in 2005 when Iron Maiden was on stage, and I didn't see this. I heard about it, and they had a little problem with the set design and how people were chucking eggs at them, and how the prompter said Ozzy, Ozzy. So basically, there was a whole Iron Maiden Ozzy Osbourne problem going around. I don't know if it still happens or not, but if it's still happening, this feud, obviously not. Um, and it's disappointing when you're a fan. You know, you think that shit should never happen, but of course I'm talking right now. There's a feud going on. A band that has been famous for over 40 years. Aerosmith and Kiss. There's been a lot of jaw jacking going around between Steven Tyler and Paul Stanley. Of course, these guys have been touring together off and on. I even think they went on tour with Kid Rock probably 10 years ago. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently Steven Tyler. Okay, I'll read it here. Steven Tyler may have a mouth that doesn't quit, but Kiss frontman Paul Stanley is known for giving as good as it gets, and he's firing back at Tyler after the Aerosmith vocalist called Kiss a comic book band. Now, the problem, there is no problem actually, and I'm not trying to pick sides. I'm obviously a huge Kiss fan, as I am of Aerosmith. However, I do think, yeah, I mean, I think Steven Tyler's right, and there's nothing wrong with being a comic book fan. I mean, you did a movie, and which failed. Um, you also did a comic book using your own blood. So yeah, I mean, you go out on stage dressed up in makeup. So given that, yeah, Kiss is a kind of a comic book band, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Tyler was less than complimentary when asked about Kiss by a Tampa radio station last week. The Aerosmith vocalist stated they've got a couple of hits, but they're more like a comic book. Da da da. There's a difference between a Kiss lick and a Joe Perry lick, the guitar player. Well, Kiss has two guitar players. Pick one, you know. It's either gonna be Star Child or Space Tom Thayer, I guess. You can compare that. They're two different bands, obviously, and the fact is, why do you have to go on record and saying that? Why they toured in 2003? That's what it was. There's a lot of that going on. I mean, and it sucks to have people that you think would get along in a tour because it's obviously the same type of music. However, someone has a huge ego and can't let that go. I mean, there was apparently a lot of problems with Motley Crue when they toured with Godsmack, and it's kind of irritating, but it happens. You know, there's also something going around with Marilyn Manson and Rob Zombie. You know, Manson's running his mouth about how fucked up Rob Zombie is for making him spend less time on stage. And speaking of that, there's a lot of talk about Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day, who went off on a tirade in a music award show. First of all, that's kind of, that would kind of be embarrassing, but I can understand his point in a way. In saying that I've been around for 88 years, I've been around since 1988, and yet I'm being told I have 1 minute left. Well, that's kind of the way it is when, you do these kinds of shows. I don't know why he'd be so shocked. But then I find out later that he went to rehab afterwards and may not be out until 2013. So that was a little bit of a surprise, but it it happens to a lot of people, I guess, eventually. Um, yeah, I just thought I would talk about that, I guess. I don't know. Later.